Isaac, I'm Sharon from Radio 1.
Oh, yeah.
I'll speak to you separately, even though we're both set together, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So Ed, I'll start with you as soon as you turned up first.
I'll let him first.
Okay, so firstly, Ed, obviously you joined Hull last season. How are you enjoying your time here?
Yeah, it's really good. Bit different from last year, with the situation, but with the signings we've got and everyone who's stayed from last year and the new coaching staff, the new environment, it's been really good.
What's been the biggest change, would you think, other than obviously a new coach coming in, but what's been the biggest change for you?
I'd probably say the whole way that we train. It's a very player-driven sort of thing. Everyone wants to get better every day, every week. Carty has probably minimal input to us, and everyone's striving to get better every day. So, you've got people like Caesar and Asiata who, really drive standards, and I think that's probably been the biggest thing.
And has it been good as well, linking up with players that you know from Lee?
Yeah, definitely. It's like with Zaki here, it just makes things a lot easier. How each other play, what everyone likes to do, and that sort of thing. And we all know how we get along and things like that. So yeah, that's been good to get into this year as well.
Obviously, from what you say, then happy at Hull. But has it been a frustrating start to the season for you personally, with a few injuries?
A little bit, a bit inconsistent. But for the last couple of weeks, I feel like I've been all right for body wise. It's just, I'd like to nail down centre spot, but for the time being, I'm just happy to be playing, even if it's out of position. It doesn't matter. So, but yeah, it's been good so far.
And how about as a team? How much do you feel that you're progressing? Still early days, obviously, not that many games under your belts yet, but how far do you feel you've progressed so far as a team this year?
Massively. I don't think anyone gave us a chance at the start of the year. They was all just expecting, you might grab one or two through the year, but I think we've proved to a lot of people what sort of team we are this year, and we've proved a lot of people wrong. So yeah, through the year, we're expecting big things from ourselves and from each other, but from each week we just keep building on that.
So tell us about the derby this weekend, the second one in 3 weeks. How much are you looking forward to it?
Massively, want to experience it in league now. Done Challenge Cup, so I just want to see if it's as big as that, and hopefully we can get it back level, one apiece. Does
it feel different, the fact this is a league game and not a cup game?
A little bit, yeah. There's probably a bit more attached to Challenge Cup, knockout football, but that's probably not going to deter anything from this week. We know what we've got to do, and it's still no big of a game. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
How different is it, the fact it is the derby game though?
It probably adds a little bit more to it. Being a bit of an outsider, not realising how much it means to the local lads and to the communities and that sort of thing. Experiencing it for that first time really showed how much it means to both sets. So yeah, it adds a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's a game of rugby, and as long as we get a win, we're happy.
And what can you take from that previous meeting into this weekend?
Just that Hull they're a team that don't go away. So you just have to kind of stick with it, and you just have to keep grinding away and everything like that, and you just have to take your chances when you can. So we've learnt some things about them, learnt some things about ourselves, so we're confident going into this week.
And how much does home advantage matter for you this week as well?
Hopefully it means a lot. We get a good few thousand FC fans in, and hopefully it's a majority to us.
Brilliant. Zach, turn to you now. How settled do you feel at Hull so far this year?
Yeah, massively settled. I think for anybody going to a new club, sometimes it takes a bit longer than what it probably usually does now. But for all the new signings, I think we've gelled really, really well. We're a close-knit group, and that's including the coaching staff, the media people, everyone associated with Hull FC. I think we've really got that inclusion back together. That we've spoken quite a lot before even the ball got kicked off, that we want to get the fans back on board. We want to get around to the communities and get everyone back on board with Hull FC and get this club to where it should be. And like I say, I think performances on the pitch have helped that. So so far so good.
Quite a few players in this squad that you've played with before. Did that help your transition?
Massively so, yeah. I've played with a couple at Wigan. I think it's 4 or 5 is at Lee. Caesar played a little bit at Leeds. So I think like Chamberlain touched on the understanding of each other and what we bring day to day, not just on a weekend. Some lads like to have a laugh and a joke, don't we, Chamber? And then we try and drive the standards on the field, and that just goes onto the pitch on the weekend. So I think, like I say, getting to know each other just through training and games, that helps. But like I say, being within previous clubs, it certainly helps.
Now, from previous clubs, you've experienced local derbies. I'm thinking Wigan Saints to start with.
Yeah.
How does the whole derby compare?
Yeah, it's massive. I got asked this question last week. It's difficult because I think it determines on how both teams going in the league as well. I was at Wigan with Saints when Saints were the dominant team, won 3-4 in a row. Us as a club, when I was at Wigan, weren't performing that well. So sometimes the derby doesn't probably feel as big, but the atmosphere 2 weeks ago was absolutely electric. I think there must have been about 10,000 people in just before. I think it was an hour and a half before kick-off. You only get jibs and jobs at that time, but and I can remember Will Price walked on the pitch first time to have a look, and the roar from the crowd was massive. So I do feel like because it's a small stadium, it is more of like a final feel, and it is literally families split down the middle, KR and NFC. So it was great to experience it 2 weeks ago. The defeat didn't help, but attention soon turned to Warrington, and then for the big game on Friday.
And you say about the form of the teams going into a derby. This time it's first against second, so I'm guessing that adds an extra layer to it as well. Then.
Massive. So yeah, like I say, I think that just adds to, both sets of fans think we can both win, but both sets of players think we can go out there and win. So on the day, it's going to see who it matters most to. So like I say, we played them 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, didn't get the win, but it's a different kind of game now. It's the league, full focus on that, and like you say, I think we're second at the minute, and that puts us in great stead for the top of the table if we can get the win on Friday.
How different a build-up has this been with it being a league match and not a cup game? Different.
It's different. The cup's totally different. It's a new experience. Knockout rugby. The Challenge Cup's magical as well. So after the performance that we did against Wigan, we put ourselves in the right frame of mind to hopefully get the win. It didn't quite go his way, but like I say, we can put us full focus on the league, and like I say, we've had a really good start to this season. It's important that we keep going on and keep chalking these wins off. But like I say, it adds a little bit more than 2 points on Friday.
Now, we've seen you at full-back, we've seen you in the centres, I think we might have seen you at half-back in your career. Just tell us about your experience going out in the second row.
Yeah, it's different. You're a bit more involved, a bit more tackling involved, which I don't actually mind, but the lungs tell you different. The head spins a little bit more, and as Chamberlain will probably say, you don't know what's going on half of the time. But I'm happy to play anywhere. My role at this club was told me before. The youngsters need some leadership. The will to win and stuff like that, which I've got hopefully in abundance. But the injuries mean people have to make sacrifices and play different positions, and I'm always up for that. So if I had to play prop next week, I'd do it. I won't say I'd be great, but I'd more than happy to put my hand up and play that role.
I look forward to seeing you number 8.
Yeah, thank you. I'm wearing it. We'll scrum out. It'll be all right.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill.
Right, boys. I'll ask a question to both of you to start with. Then. So you got 3 and 4 on your back. You played 11 and 12 last week. Best back row in South League. Then is that fair to say?
We've had a little joke, don't we? We call each other the Swiss Army knife. I call it you last year, didn't I?
Yeah.
Like I say, played wing centre, back row, and then funny how the tide turns, and
I know.
I
got it all at once, and then all of a sudden I left Lee and Zach took over the mantle of Swiss Army knife, and now that we've come up here, somehow we've ended up with the exact same nickname, and like you said, we're just happy to play a game at the end of the day, don't matter what position. So it's been good.
You've done it before, haven't you, Ed? Played back row a few times at Lee, obviously at Hull last year and this year, so I'm guessing it was a bit easier for you to transition than Zach.
Yeah, a little bit. It's still something new, but we've got people around us that help us, and at the end of the day, it's just one of them. You kind of you understand your role a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're just running around a bit headless at the end of the day. But it's easy enough.
What changes then, especially for you, Zach, playing the outside backs and playing at full-back, what changes in terms of, is it your workload or how much you're involved?
The workload, yeah. Obviously, the D side of it is that you can be the fittest man running about, which I think I'm quite fit running. But the fitness, wrestle, the technique, the tackling 6'4" guys who are probably twice the size of me is a bit different. Although you just probably 1-2 places in the field when you're defending, it's you've got bigger men running it, you've got to double defend it. It's a bit different, but obviously I think playing centre just gives us a little bit of a leg up to someone else who's probably never played it. But yeah, it's a different position. But like I say, what Ed said, we're happy just to play and give it us all really.
And in terms of when you got the ball, you're in different lines, aren't you? You're in lead lines while I'm coming out the back. So what's that been like for both of you? It's fair to say the shape in the first half was excellent last week, and both of you got the ball in space, which was good to see. Yeah,
I got a bit of I won't say telling off, but I got a bit of I'm running like a centre. That's what I got told after about 10 minutes. And I said to the physio, I am a centre, so that's probably why. So yeah, it's more just instead of running into space with the ball, you've got to run to a certain point, which if someone stood in front of you, you've got to run at them, where normally I'd try and sidestep them or something. So that changes, and like you say, your line running, I was probably running a bit more like a centre line, and yeah, I had a bit of a word in me after 10-15 minutes and kind of changed that on the run, which was good, and I felt a bit more comfortable. We've trained today, and I felt a lot more comfortable again. So it's a bit of a different line running and stuff, but yeah, getting used to it.
Same for you, you've been involved a little bit about look of it as well.
Yeah, I know. This is what happens when you start playing out of position. No, it's like you say. There's some shapes that you're pretty similar to at centre, but at the end of the day, you're there to make space for everyone on the outside. So most of it it's pretty similar, but then at the same time, it's just that added little bit of you've got to do it whilst your head's spinning from tackling someone, getting back on side and all that, and you in the washing machine a little bit. You've just got to do it at the same speed for as long as you can, whilst you've got halfbacks and everyone else telling you what you've got to do and this, that, the other. But like I say, it's not the hardest. It's just concentrating on what you've got to do.
And looking ahead to Derby on Friday, this could be the first time this season where the team's actually unchanged and there's a few boys out, but the fact that you're going to have a bit of continuity, does that help?
Yeah, a lot. We've had different teams near enough every week, but near enough everyone that's come in has done a good job. It'll just be nice to get a bit of consistency with knowing who's going to do what at certain points. So, for example, we got Pricey in the other week. As good as a player as he is, it's still going to take time to get used to him and whatnot. So, as long as he can, if he's in the same position as he was 2 weeks ago, we can work on that. But even if we've got a different team, everyone just still does their job.
Same for you as well.
Yeah, like Ed says, we've not been able to get a consistent team for 2 or 3 weeks running, and like I say, with different players in different positions, they do different things. Especially when you've got 2 centres playing back row, we're not quite used to it. But we had a great win at Warrington on Saturday. Hopefully we get the same team out, and hopefully we get the 2 points. We're good.
Good stuff. Ed, you've obviously come to Hull back end of last year. You've been here this year. You've seen the changes. I mean, what would you say the key now is to raise the bar even further from what you've seen in your time here?
I think it's just we've got to keep doing what we have been doing from the first game at Catalan. I think we've already improved massively since then. So it's just one of them. We just can't be complacent in thinking that we've done better than last year already. That's enough. We don't want that. We want to be pushing for them final spots, and if OKR end up being top of the table by the end of the year, we want to make sure that we're as close to that as possible and we're pushing for them top spots.
That's weird in itself, because everyone wrote Hull off, pundits, everyone. So the fact that you win on Friday, you go top of Super League. Appreciate it's only 8 games, but even that sounds like a massive statement. You're looking from the outside to what your boys can do this year.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've said before, people didn't give us a chance at the start of the year. I'm sure no one expected us to get the win at Catalan, but us as a playing group, that's what we know we can do. We expect a lot from each other, and to keep getting better each week, we push ourselves, we push each other, and yeah, that's what's going to help us get push for them top spots at the end of the year.
Does it motivate you, both of you, knowing that everyone's writing you off? Zach, you've experienced it before when you went to Leeds, didn't you? No one gave Lee a chance, but you ended up winning the cup, and you said you were a part of that. So
I love it. I save all the quotes, me. So like when the John Wilkin and that say bottom at table, I save them in my phone just so I can rub it in his face when we don't. That's why the Challenge Cup win at Lee was really good. That's why Derek would do the old pie in the face thing. I thought that was brilliant. And yeah, just the same for this year. I hate losing. So yeah, where we're at now as a club, what Chamber just touched on there, I'm not happy to just go out and turn up and get a loss or just get a near win or they played well, but it's not good enough. So yeah, like I say, we've put ourselves in a position where we're learning, we're playing well for each other. We're really hungry. Like I say, we've got a big game on Friday, but you know the bigger picture is just improving week on week and see how far we can go into the season, see where we can finish, and yeah, who knows, and hopefully we can rub it into some more people's noses at the end of the year.
So have you got the data on for Hull FC then? Who
Probably all of them. I think they all said it, didn't they? So I've got them all saved.
Brilliant. Is it surprised you how good Hull have been this year then, as a group of players? Because obviously you would have come in, you'd have been confident last week playing the game, unless you play, would you? So was it surprised you just how good you've been this year at all?
Not really, no. You know, if you showed me the players that they signed at the start of the season, I would be like, good players. The players that were already here, good players. The coaching stature of Carty coming in and where he's been and what he's done. It's the knowledge of him is. I reckon you could write a book. So just about us all getting together and see where we can go, and just being really excited about the project. I think that was the massive chat before Christmas, and yeah, it's not a shock. It's just good that we're learning each other. We're just really enjoying it. I think if you just spent a couple of hours around training with us, you'd see how close knit we are for a new group, and yeah, that just comes off the back of friendship, mateship, going out there enjoying it, and getting the results off the back of it. So yeah, there's no ceiling for us, I don't think. We just got to keep up working hard and keep turning up, and hopefully we'll go all right.
Obviously, throughout your career, you spoke very highly about Hull FC. You're now here as a player, a couple of months into your career. How have you found the overall experience of playing for the club so far? Brilliant.
Yeah, it's everything I thought it would be. And not being here last year, and everyone talking about how bad it was really. It was quite daunting, to be fair, because that's not the image of the club I've had over the years. So to be here now after 8 games, after grueling pre-season, to see where we are in the league, the fans turning in week in week out, the away fans, I think they had 2,000 every away game, which is absolutely absurd. Like I say, the community feel, I think we've just got it back, and I think that's great for me just to be a part of that. Like I say, it's a long journey. It's a 3, 4, 5, 6 year plan. So yeah, if we can just put it in a good position to get back to where it was, then that's good.
The club are announcing tonight the community initiatives that you've been doing as players. Zach, yours is a mental health project, so how close is that to your heart, and how have you enjoyed doing that so far this year?
Yeah, it's good. We sat down, I think it was just before Christmas, and we get promos all the time, and it's some of the times it's things that you're not probably interested in, or you're not really looking forward to be fair, some of them. So there was like a big list, and it was like what resonates with you, what would you like to do, and do quite a long list. And yeah, it's something that I've spoke about passionately over the years. Yeah, and it's something that I'm more than willing to help with. Going outside of rugby into the community and talking about mental health and how important it is for male and females to speak about things and get out and exercise and feel better about yourself. I think it's key for every person out there. So it's it's close to me. Like I say, I've spoken about it over the years. It's a pretty tough subject to talk about, but I'm happy to do that. And like I say, I think Chamberlain's whatever you've picked as well, mate. But it's just whatever what interests you, and if you've gone through recent things yourself, it's you can get that connection and that thing going really well.
Chamberlain, yours is the sports college. So how have you found that and doing that and getting involved?
Yeah, well, the reason I did it was my partner's a teacher, so she's a PE teacher at a high school. So I hear all the stories of some kids don't get the chance to do certain things, and sport's a big part of kids' lives, whether it is what they want to do or even if it's just the social side of things. Yeah, that's something that I'm pretty passionate to try and help. I don't want if a kid's like upset or lonely and not wanting to do anything, sport can be a real helper in that sort of thing. So yeah, it's something I look forward to doing.
Stuff. And finally, Chris, from both of us, get over final message to the fans ahead of Good Friday. I think there's going to be about 21,000 people there, so it's a big one.
Yeah, massively. You know, it's having the home support as well, and hearing the crowd. It's whenever something happens in a game, you get a buzz, but the moment you start hearing a crowd, the roar of the crowd, it's like an extra man on your team. Gives you that little boost of energy, and hopefully it'll get us the win on the weekend.
Yeah, like I touched on, they've been amazing home and away this year. So yeah, like the fact that they were that loud 2 weeks ago, and everyone talking about the Good Friday game, it just adds a bit more to it. So yeah, the fans have been outstanding for us already, and you know, turn up in numbers, make some noise. It certainly goes a long way to helping us.
Cheers, mate.
Hey fellas, just first of all, great to hear getting involved in them community initiatives, something that's really good, you know, from LFC's perspective and your own personal side, so and I'm sure you'll be a great asset to those people that you're going to be affecting in the future. Ed, if I can turn to you first, lots of changes at the club since last season. You've already mentioned about the experienced players at the club, Aidan, Jordan, John Asiata, and dare I say Zach as well. How important is it that they have an input and effect on the players, especially those younger ones? Yeah,
massively. You know, it's just one of them things that, you know, happens at every club. It's you have different coaches every now and then, but you learn from the players. From when you're young, you just learn from what they sort of do. So, you know, for someone like Jack Charles to have Aidan Caesar here, to have Custy, you know, it's massive for him to just look up and see what he can take from their game to help his own game, and that goes right through all the young lads. And you know, last year it was something that was lacking. They sort of just got thrown in at the deep end, and you know, I think it's a bit proven now that, you know, anyone that does come into our squad this year has learned a good amount from the pre-season, and you know, can really push for spots this year.
Brilliant, thanks. And Zach, turning to yourself, over 300 Super League appearances, and I think it's 304 I think you've made, coming closely up to 400 career appearances as well. How are you coping, body-wise?
It's alright until I went back row. Keep saying back row, don't I? No, it's alright, mate. Yeah, I'm. Fitness levels and stuff are as good as I was when I was 21, so I can't argue with that. My body holds up pretty well. This year I've had a few muscle injuries, but it's been more precaution than actual anything serious. It's just, you know, we tried to get as many senior blokes out there on the field as possible, and sometimes I try and wrap us in cotton wool at training, which is always good, and then unleash us on a weekend, which I'll take all day.
Okay. And I've heard a little rumour that got a bit of a little bromance going with Dave Litton at the moment. How's that going with Dave?
Yeah, he's an absolute lovely kid. He's full of energy. Every morning, sometimes when I'm a bit tired, he just comes in, starts laughing, slapping me on the head. He just reminds me of me when I was young, when his age. And you know, he's a centre. He asks me questions about. He wants to learn the game. Wants to learn about centre, which is the main reason why I'm here as well, to help him at that. But he's just a good lad to have, and you know, we get on really, really well.
Good. Thanks, lads, and all the best on
Cheers,
Friday.
Mate.
Obviously, much has been made of the fact that you both just played back row. Does it help at all the fact that you've obviously got Gaz Ellis and Carty, two legendary back rows on the coaching staff, or does that put a bit more pressure on you trying to play their old position?
No, I wouldn't say it adds any pressure. It's probably a big help. You know, they just give their little input, but at the end of the day, they just kind of sit back and let us play a game. And you know, if we make a mistake, at the end of the day, they're not going to blow our legs off for it. You know, we're playing out of position, but they still expect some things from us. But at the end of the day, Gaz is a big help. You know, he's probably a bit more up to date than what Carty's been playing, but yeah, they've both been a big help for changing that position.
And so obviously a lot has been made as well about the ex-league contingent that are here. You were obviously here before. Tom Briscoe had arrived beforehand. How much does that help people like yourself and John Asiata, etc., with settling in, because you're amongst the bunch that survived 2024?
It certainly does help. It's mad because the lads that were here last year and they are now, they just say it's a totally different world. It's flipped on its head. So for me to even try and vision what it was last year, I don't think I can, because it's totally different. I can only just go off what I'm experienced since I've been here, and it's been really good. Like I say, having players that you know from previous clubs, and like I say, we had a fantastic 2 years at Lee. It's always makes it a lot easier.
And it's Hull Derby week. A lot is made of experience of players like yourselves, Aidan, etc. How important are players like Jordan Lane, Brad Fash this week, Davey, Litton, Logan Moy, etc., the local element, how important are they for you personally?
They're big. They sort of raise their game when it comes to it, and Davey's already a box of energy, but he's mad when it's Derby week, and it's good to see in training, because it gives you that buzz and makes you want to train that little bit harder, and it just because it means so much to them, it means so much to you as well, so you don't want to let them down at a weekend.
Yeah, it just makes you realise how important the game is. The lads from Hull, the local lads, they've been at Hull FC for years. Just reiterates how important it is for, not just for ourselves, not for the badge, for the club, but for your mates who you play alongside. If you want to win for them as well, as much as anything else. So having the bundle of energy of Davey knocking about the place is it's always good. So you want to repay that and try to do the best for him as well.
Looking back to Saturday, obviously you went out there, you basically, I described it as you systematically dismantled Warrington in the first half. You had the game in the palm of your hand. Was there at all a thought of, we've got this game won in the second half, keep and looking ahead at what was coming this Friday at all?
No. That's the first time we've had a really good 40 minutes. I think we've been behind more times than we've been in front. So it was quite nice just to be in front for a change. But no, we knew Warrington, were the top team. They just beat Santons the week before. They've got star players on about £3 million a piece. So we knew it was going to be a game of two halves. We knew it was important that we start the second half well, and we didn't. So we were on the back foot. We made too many errors in yardage, and then Jack Ashworth fancied a 10-minute break as well. So it just puts us under more pressure. So yeah, it was, like I say, it was the old stereotypical two games of two halves. But it was great to get the win. But there were no eyes on this week. It was firmly trying to get the 2 points up Warrington first.
Coming up to this week, and one last thing, how much you're obviously focused on the game, but how important is the element of fun that goes with this week for yourselves?
I don't know. It's at the end of the day, we just like playing rugby, so that's the fun side of it. But just seeing what a whole derby is like, it's basically a final every week whenever you do play. So that's a little bit of an added incentive. It's such a massive thing, and like we said before,
especially with the possibility of knocking them off the top of the table and going there yourselves, that's going to be... From being an outsider, it's another game, but like we said before, with Davey, Laney, Fasher, it means so much to them to be one up or a level. You don't want to be going 2 or 3 behind through a year, so it's big for us as well. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's just massive. Yeah, it's the talk of it when I first signed was, they already got the KR game circled in the calendar, so we knew how much it meant to everyone around here. So we don't play with to lose, so it's a massive game for us, and bumper crowd. That makes it more exciting. All his family and friends will be turning up as well, so massive game. Like Chamberlain says, hopefully we can make it 1-1, make it decided over their place later on in the year. But we've had a good week's prep. We're looking forward to it. So see how we go.
Thank you very much. Best
Cheers.
of luck.